Hi everyone, Sir Douglas here back again with another video, and today we're going to talk about the triumphant victory of the Toronto Argonauts at the home opener, defeating the BC Lions to the tune of 35-27. First of all, let's talk to tailgating. It was fantastic. It was great to see everybody again, even though we did have a slight rain shower that lasted for about 20 to 30 minutes or so, and actually it wasn't just a shower. It was a pretty big downpour, to be quite honest. I know I got soaked once or twice, but that's beside the point. It all dried out in the end and turned out to be a pretty good day. The game itself was a game of four distinct phases. I felt the first quarter was pretty much kind of the feeling out phase between the two teams. However, the only score of the quarter was Cameron Dukes finding Kadeem Carey with a short pass for the end zone to make it a 6-0 lead. Liram Hajrullahu making his return. Unfortunately, his first kick for points as an Argo was a missed convert. He made up for it later. Then the second quarter was that's when you see the heroic fighter getting a nice big ol' right in the jaw. Vernon Adams Jr. woke up at that point. He found McInnes for their first touchdown to make it a tie ball game. The only thing that stopped McInnes was the post. But their kicker as well, Sean White, he missed a convert as well. Now I don't know if that was attributed to field conditions or but I think it was a bad snap because the holder didn't kind of bumbled the ball a little bit. So, but I mean, you could also say field conditions because the turf was probably made a little bit soft with the downpour earlier. VA, being Mr. Big Play himself, Big Play VA, made a good pass to Fulgham. It was a nice deep shot that he found a pretty big hole in coverage and he just kind of just pranced into the end zone for another touchdown, and that made it 13-6. And then a really weird play happened, at least in my opinion. Cameron Dukes rolled out for a pass while the Argos were on offense. Or Cameron Dukes rolls out, and he ends up getting sacked. But on the way down, he kind of plants the ball like it was a rugby try into the turf. I don't think he knew that was the way it worked, because at that point, Thibaut Debailly, at least I think I pronounced his name correctly, scooped it up and scored it, making it a thick 6. Now, I'm all for thick sixes, just not when they happen to us. Okay, so at that point, the Argos weren't looking very good. It was a 20-6. It was a 20-6 hole the Argos had dug themselves into. Most other quarterbacks that are in this situation, i.e. the Cleo Lemons of the world, the Drew Willies of the world, they would end up just rolling over and dying and let BC just walk all over them. Cameron Dukes didn't. He showed a lot of poise in this game. But going back a little bit, there was a tip drill that the defense caught that Deshaun Amos ran back for a few yards, giving the Argos good field position. That right there, I thought, was the TSN turning point. That right there was a TSN turning point. Because then after that, Cameron Dukes rolled it down the field, found Rasheed Bailey in the end zone. It was a great catch too to find him there too. So that made it 20-13. The next possession for the Argos then led to a Hajrullahu field goal, and that was his first field goal since he effectively won us the Grey Cup in 2017. God, that makes me feel old. Anyway, so that made it 20-16, and that's how the half ended. So the Argos started to make their comeback, and it was only a 4-point deficit at halftime. I know I was thinking at the half that, you know what, this game is very much in reach for this team. We all know what they're capable of. Let's hunker down. Let's give the boys everything we got. The third quarter, that's when we saw the comeback come to completion. Cameron Dukes found Dejon Brissett, and it was a nice little short pass, and he was able to just scamper into the end zone and score to make it a 23-20 lead. Then BC after that they came back to life a little bit. Kind of traded field goals for a little bit in the third quarter as well. So Sean White made it 23 all. Hairolahu made it a 26-23 lead. Then another little weird thing happened where normally this would be a field goal a try for Sean White, but instead BC brought out Flintoff to kick a punt, try to pin him deep with a coffin corner. Sadly, it didn't work, and it became a rouge. This happened after Jared Brinkman with an incredible sack on the play previous. Now, keep in mind though, the wind was actually quite heavy at BMO Field on Sunday. It was actually quite stiff. So then at that point he was kicking into the breeze. So based where he was on the field, I don't think he was going to make the field goal. So that was probably the right call to make to try and pin the Argos deep. So it was no field goal try there, and it was the Argos only had a 2-point lead. The next possession for BC came for BC, but then before that, we had the return of the Ryan Dinwiddie meme. That's right. If you don't know what that is, the Dinwiddie meme is this. Ryan Dinwiddie can't win a challenge to save his life. That's it. He can't win a challenge to save his life. And in the fourth quarter, that happened again. It was actually a pretty nice catch. And I know the receiver, I can't remember who caught it, but I know he had 1 foot out of bounds. He toe dragged it inbounds, but I think he tried to challenge based on the fact that he didn't have possession of the ball when he went out of bounds. As soon as he threw the challenge flag, I thought, you know what? No, he's not gonna lose this challenge. He's not gonna win this challenge. He's gonna lose this one. And sure enough, I was right. There we go. Then we had another score from Sean White to make it a 27-26 game. Only a 1-point lead now for BC. But then in the fourth quarter, the field position battle started becoming a little serious, because then the Argos started really, really ramping that up. I noticed that there was they were pinning BC deep, giving them a very big field to work with, and BC couldn't do anything with it in the fourth quarter. The Argos then had another field goal from Liram Hairolahu to make it a 29-27 lead. At this point, the defense played out of their skin to get Toronto over the line. I know there was one very big, I think we all know what the final, one of the big plays for the Argo defense was pinning, sending BC back to their own 5-yard line or something, and then Vernon Adams gets flushed from the pocket, and then he ends up getting sacked and threw it away. He got nailed with an intentional grounding call, pinning BC on the 1-yard line. And it was actually, they couldn't do much of anything else. It was a turnover on downs on the 1-yard line. And then there was the dagger. Dukes with the keeper, makes it 35-27, and that's how it ended. Needless to say, the Argos I thought the Argos, they kind of were a little cagey at first, but they actually came into their own. And I thought they played a really, really good game. Well, let's put it this way: Vernon Adams also had a great game. You can't dismiss BC. They're still a really good team despite everything. Can't dismiss them, and I think they're going to be in the hunt this year. But at least for week 1, in the city, the biggest city, the Lions sleep tonight. That's pretty much all I got for this week. Stay tuned. I've got the tailgating 101 video coming up this weekend. I'm going to be working on that this week, and then next week for week 3, it's time to go hunting, boys. Elk season starts up as the Edmonton Elks come to town, and it's going to be the return of 4 players that we know very, very well, including the Fancast's favorite, the law firm himself, McLeod Bethel Thompson. So until then, I'll talk to you again. Talk to you again soon. Have a good one, folks. Cheers.